Last week we saw a top-of-the-table clash at the Glenelg Oval in which Port Adelaide did a number on the Tigers and could have started round 18 at the top of the ladder. But a slip-up in round 15 against the Double Blues meant that Matthew Webber's under-18s would remain the bridesmaids for at least another week. So entering the split round last Saturday, even if the Magpies were to win this contest, that coveted top spot would only be theirs for a couple of hours because the ladder-leading Tigers were visiting the very bottom Panthers, and that result was a fait accompli. Or was it? Stay tuned, the Panthers and Glenelg up next. At Alberton, the Magpies certainly had their work cut out. Norwood has been the team to beat in the second half of season 2011, and the Redlegs came into this match sporting a secret weapon. Making his first appearance with the under-18 since June 4th was James Aish, son of Andrew and cousin of Joel and Jesse Aish. We first saw James in this segment back in round 8, rivalry round, when he scored a best-on-ground tag for his work against, you guessed it, Port Adelaide. Despite James's best efforts, Port won the contest by 11 points. James won't forget 2011 in a hurry. He also won the Kevin Sheehan Medal for the Division 1 Player of the Series when South Australia took out the Under-16 Championships with a clean sweep last month. In round 18 last Saturday, James was voted best on ground yet again for his 35 disposals and extraordinary accuracy with the ball. But once again, it wasn't enough to score 4 points for his team. For the Magpies, the best on ground was Scott Burnett. From the Salisbury West Football Club, the 2010 Port Adelaide Under-18 Best and Fairest winner was winning again against Norwood. Scott amassed 14 kicks and 10 handballs for Port, and just for the record, he was also voted best on ground the last time these two teams met back in May. On the score sheet for Port was the ever-present Jamie Solly. The 2008 Under-17's most promising player for Port was delivering in 2011. From the North Pines Football Club, Jamie has just turned 19 and he bagged 4 good goals to take his goals tally for the year into double figures. Already in double figures was Gavin Shepherd. From 21 disposals, the 18-year-old from the Port Districts Football Club scored 2 on Saturday to take him to 12 goals for the season. And the season is looking rosy for the Magpies. With a far superior percentage to the Tigers, the Magpies took top spot for at least 2.5 hours by beating Norwood by 34 points at the Alberton Oval. But how long Port stayed at the top would very much depend on this game when the Tigers made the trip down the coast to the Noarlunga Oval. Now, we've reminded the enduring and faithful Panthers fans every week about their round 6 win against the Bloods. That solitary win has kept their spirits up in the hope that there might be one more win before the end of the season. But no one would have dreamed that win might come against the reigning premiers. But on what turned out to be a golden weekend for the South Adelaide Football Club, Ron Fuller's league side, Terry Hutton's reserve side and Jason Tawney's under-18 side all won at the weekend. And Jason Tawney had plenty of praise for his lads after what can only be described as a courageous performance. At half-time, the Panthers were down but not out. The first half was a tight tussle with goals to Glenelg's Billy Hayes and Tim McIntyre from the Narration Football Club. At the long break, the Tigers led by 34 points. But the second half was an entirely different matter. The Tigers can blame pilfering from the reserves, injuries and players returning to college football. There were 9 changes in all, but the reality is that they made far too many skill errors and they stopped running. By three-quarter time, the Panthers trailed by just 2 points. But when the Tigers stopped, the Panthers got going, and they relied heavily on on-baller Adam Halim in just his 4th game at this level. From the Cove Cobras Football Club down at Hallett Cove, where he scored 29 goals this season, Adam scored 2 vital goals for the Panthers. But it was his strength around the stoppages that impressed junior football manager and Panthers stalwart Alex Burrows. Also impressing Burrows was midfielder Matthew Spenceley in his first game for South. Playing in the Southern Football League, Matthew has scored in every single appearance for Morphett Vale this season. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, he knocked 7 goals past Hackham. His 9 kicks against Glenelg netted him 2 goals in this match and helped his team to a memorable win. Nathan Risitano's 17th minute goal in the final term put the Panthers 2.5 goals up, but they kept the pressure on until the very end. Nothing was going to deny these boys just their 2nd win for the season, and to celebrate, they've got this week off with a split round and next week off with a bye. No rest though, with the players going back to their home clubs for a couple of weeks. So congratulations to the Panthers, winners by 11 points over Glenelg, with no one more grateful than the Magpies, who stay top of the ladder as a consequence. The evening fixture on Saturday was at the Richmond Oval. The Panthers' win might have been morale boosting, but any hope of getting off the bottom of the ladder would rely on West losing a few times this month. But the 8th placed Bloods were in no mood to be losing on Saturday night. At the first break, they'd kept the Roosters to just 3 points in what can only be described as ideal conditions for football. West Adelaide enjoyed the services of 16-year-old Nick Favretto. From the Goodwood Football Club, Nick was part of the under-16 state squad this year. His 31 disposals, 8 marks and a goal in the second quarter, enough to warrant best on-ground status for Nick. With 3 goals for the Bloods was Mason Middleton. Mason made his first appearance for West back in round 11. He's only played for West Adelaide under-18s twice, and on both occasions the opposition has been North Adelaide. Back in June, Jonathan Birkin's goal in the dying minutes of the match would ensure that there'd be no winners that day. The Bloods and Roosters shared the spoils of a draw in round 11. No such dramas in round 18, although the margin at half-time was just 2 points. The third quarter was a battle of the defences, but it was the Bloods that would break through in the final term. Superior fitness would see them pile on 5 goals to 1 for North. For North Adelaide, best on ground was Michael Virgin from the Foss Camden Football Club with 26 kicks, 10 handballs, 10 marks and 2 goals. But on a weekend of upsets, the Bloods notched up just their 4th win for the season to leapfrog Central into 7th place. But the Dogs are doing battle right now with Sturt at Unley. We'll bring you that result at the end of the show and all the highlights next week. At the Richmond Oval, it was West by 29 points over North.